This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV.
Welcome to What the Fork Wednesday, the stories that make you stop, blink twice, and ask yourself how this is real life. Logic has left the building. Let's begin.
Boss be rising, BBTV's igniting, turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling when she hits go live, everybody feels it.
All right. Happy What the Fork Wednesday, honeybees. Everybody, welcome back to Ask a Bee. And listen, if you are here live right now, I appreciate you more than you know, because today has already been one of those behind the scenes grind days where everything is happening at once. So the dashboard is doing gymnastics, the subs are flirting with milestones, and the shorts are cycling. The catalog is humming. The caffeine is working overtime. And I'm trying to keep this train on track so we can hit our noon slot clean and consistent like grown adults, right? With a production schedule. I am a producer, after all. Because that's where we're what we're doing right now. Okay, we are building rhythm, we are building habits, we are training both ourselves and Bertha. It's what I call the algorithm. And more importantly, we are training our audience to know exactly when and where to find us. And if you've been rocking with me the last few days, you already know this new groove has been clicking. The conversations have been better. The chat has been steadier, and the stories have been messier in all the right ways. The energy has felt like we are finally locking into something that works instead of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping, one strand sticks. So thank you for being here in the middle of that build. And I am sorry for delays and distractions, but, life happens. And though YouTube, I love to be here all the time, I can't, right? So life happens. So whether you're watching live, replay crew, lurkers in the bushes, or somebody who just stumbled in because a short dragged you through the door and now you're like, what is this woman doing and why am I invested? Welcome. You're in the right place. Now today, it is What the Fork Wednesday, which means we are firmly in the lane of stories that make you stop mid-scroll and go, wait, hold on. What? Because these are the situations where nobody wakes up planning to be messy, but somehow everybody ends up in an argument, right? Feelings get hurt, texts get spicy, family members overshare, and boundaries get totally crossed. And suddenly the comment section is on fire trying to decide who is wrong, right? That's the way it works. Who's justified and who needs to take 3 deep breaths and sit down with a glass of water, or maybe if it's late enough, make it wine. And I've got 3 stories for you today. 2 shorter ones just to warm us up, and then, a little bit bigger layered situation we're saving for second. The kind where you can already feel the tension just reading the headline, and then we're going to have to unpack it slowly instead of jumping straight to pitchforks, okay? Because that's not what we do here, right? And as always, I want you involved, please, because this is not me lecturing into the void. This is a conversation. That's my favorite word here lately, okay? When it comes to YouTube, I like having conversations. That's what the Iron Sharpening Iron universe is all about as well. Hi, Rafif. How are you? I will like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, my friend. That would make you my 6,000 again. Let me tell you, I've been fighting to get back to 6,000. Before I got in a little bit of YouTube trouble, I was at 60-30. And then YouTube hit me with, guess what? Whatever. And then I was all the way down. I've gotten all the way down to 59.69, and today I'm sitting at 59.99. So, Refi, if you would do that, I would love you forever, my friend. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you're in the chat, please, by all means, talk to me. I need your verdicts. I need your hot takes. I really, really need your calm, reasonable adult perspectives. Okay. I need your absolutely not, your I see both sides, and your this feels personal. And oh, can't forget. Oh, I have been here before. Those moments are important. Okay. And we're doing the same thing we've been doing lately that has been working really well. Honey or stinger, guys. Honey or stinger. It's really easy. You just tell me, do you think they deserve some honey? Or do you think they deserve the stinger? And that's all because, honey, it lasts. Honey lasts, right? It doesn't go bad. Stingers, well, I think you get the idea. So seriously, honey means that you think the person is justified. Stinger means you think they crossed a line. And if you're torn, you can say both and explain why. Because sometimes answer really is your feelings make sense, but your delivery was totally wild. And that's what the Fork Wednesday is all about. And that's kind of our brand around here. We try to slow these stories down and actually look at what people were reacting to. Like I say, reactions are everything. Don't react first, okay? Instead of just picking teams, sprinting into battle. Also, quick reminder before we dive in, I don't use real names. I transform details. I protect privacy, and I am not here to ruin anybody's life. I'm here to talk about human behavior, stress, communication, boundaries, burnout, family dynamics, relationships, and all the places those things go sideways when people are tired or scared or stretched too thin. I don't know how many times I've found myself in somebody else's story and also found some kind of peace in it too. Or maybe not even peace, but some kind of, I guess, a direction towards a resolution. Let's put it that way. So if you're new, that's the lane. And if you're regular, you already know the drill. Grab your coffee, grab your lunch, get comfortable, because we are settling in for a good one today, or three. And one more thing, if you've been enjoying this format, the AITA, which means, am I the a-hole? I don't use those words. That's another thing. I have tried so hard to get all these terrible words out and use my own. So if I do miss one, please forgive me. So this is the long form breakdown, the daily rhythm, the noon lives, the consistency. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure notifications are on. And make sure you stick around after this because we've got more coming later, including Ladies' Diary tonight. Yes, I'm so excited. Mama Lyons has been bringing the panel, y'all. She is just rocking it with the panel, and her shows are incredible. Y'all need to go see them. Absolutely need to go see them. Comment on them. Tell her I sent you, okay? So Ask Me household over here. And you're officially invited to all of it, right? Let's go ahead and get into number one, because this first case involves new parents, exhaustion, breastfeeding logistics, and one sentence said at 3 a.m. that turned into a full-blown emotional grenade. And I already know the chat is going to have opinions. So here we go. Let's get into it. Hello, Vincent. Thank you. I am having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for asking. I hope you are having a great day too. Or stating, pardon me. I guess that wasn't a question. All righty. Let's see here. I'm going to get our first story loaded up here. One moment, please. And here we go. AITA, am I the a-hole for asking my wife, what the fork do you want me to do? After she asked me to feed our son. And, oh, I missed one. I'm so sorry I missed one. After she asked me to feed our son, the first one, that's crazy. See, that just makes me mad. Here, I need to get over here too. Forgive me. I'm trying to be polite and I just missed one. After she asked me to feed our son and shaming her for breastfeeding. Okay, my wife and I, both 30 female. Okay. Have a 4-month-old son. Happy news. Congratulations. He's the light of our lives. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. My wife carried him and is the one who feeds him. Aw. He is exclusively breastfed. Okay, fine. It's my wife's choice. I suggested pumping so I could also feed him, but she says it's uncomfortable and time consuming, so that's not an option. Okay, I can understand that. I never was able to, but I understand that. So last night, our boy woke up and was crying. I got up and it was clear he was hungry, so I woke my wife up. She was very annoyed and groggy and told me to feed him. Wait, what? I told her I can't and that she needs to get up to feed him. It turned into a small argument, and I ended up saying, "What the fork do you want me to do?" It wasn't a yell or anything, but my tone was definitely annoyed. After a minute or so, she got up and fed our son, but she didn't get back into bed. This is going sideways quick. Okay. I woke up. Oh, wait. But she wouldn't. Okay. I woke up the next day and found she'd cooked a whole breakfast, but was being super cold to me. Okay. I'm going to stop this right here for just 1 second because I'm going to tell you this after all the years that I've been married. Number one, when somebody does something unexpected after they've done something wrong and they don't want to admit it, that's what the big meal was for. Okay. That's how I feel. That's just, this is two women. It could be a different situation. I don't think so. I think it's a partner situation, but, yeah, she really should be saying she's sorry. I mean, it's her rules, right? I asked if she was okay, and she said she was mad at me for waking her up. What? Are you kidding? I asked her what she wanted me to do. Our son is only breastfed, and she won't pump or use formula. That was the wrong thing to say, as she got super mad at me and yelled about I'm shaming her for her choices. Oh, okay. This is hormones, and she needs to see the doctor. I'm going to tell you right now, she got a little postpartum. Yep. That's what this is. Her hormones are trying to get back into order, and they're not working right. Okay, she says, I said I'm not, but she's not making it any easier on either of us. I asked my friend who has a 2-year-old, and she asked or sided with my wife and said breastfeeding isn't a walk in the park, and I was wrong. So, am I the a-hole? Okay, there's a few edits here I'm going to put up first and read, and then we'll get into this because, yeah, I got lots of things. Alrighty, here we go. The first edit. I am very involved parent. I take care of our son during the day. Wife still feeds him, but that's all she does during the day. She doesn't change nappies, bathe him, or do any household chores. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting her to be busting her ass deep cleaning the house, but I do everything during the day. Apart from feeding, she's okay, and she's in therapy, not diagnosed with anything, too. I'm the one who gets up at night first every time. Also, I am a woman, not a man. Okay, that last little entry I don't think really makes any difference either way because, obviously she's just had a kid. And sure, she's tired and everything, but she shouldn't be just sitting there doing anything either and wasting away, right? Anyway, here's another edit. Edit number 2, to all the people telling me simply just start lactating. Please do a Google search. Breasts do not work that way. Amen. That is not how that works. Yes, there are ways to start that, but that is not how that works. No. Okay, edit 3. For the love of God, stop telling me to induce lactation. I know it's a thing. You're not clever when you type, well, actually, you can. I know. Okay, I think she's getting a little too irritated with the commenters here, but here we go. One last edit, and this is the one. A response to most asked comments. Why not lift her shirt, unclip her bra if she's wearing one, settle the baby on the boob, reclip her bra, lower her shirt, check nappy, and put baby back to sleep? Okay, that's a good, viable situation, I would think, but no, of course not. Because apparently she gets mad. She gets mad. Okay, she needs to see a doctor. See right here. She pretty clearly has PPD, postpartum depression. She already sees a doctor and therapist. This is the answer. Hadn't been diagnosed with anything. Then you need to go to a different doctor. Okay? Because something is clearly wrong. Also, you can get meds to induce lactation if you wanted to be able to feed him too. And then yeah, I probably would have reacted this way too. I'm sorry, reaction is everything. Yes, I say don't react, but I forking know I was referring to the people, men, who were telling me to start lactating because that's what mothers do. I forking know about the procedures. I swear to God, if I see another forking comment about, well, actually, I'll forking lose it. Okay, I think you already forking lost it, lady. Seriously. So, my goodness. Pardon me. That was not supposed to come up. That's a little bit of a mess, I think. Here's where I land on this one. Okay, because when I slow it down and take all the edits, clarifications, and emotional temperature into account, I don't see a lazy partner or a malicious spouse. Okay, I see two women running on empty inside a system that was never fully negotiated out loud. And the problem isn't that someone said a sharp sentence at 3 a.m. The problem is that they've been silently operating on assumptions instead of agreements. Because on one side, you have a partner who physically cannot breastfeed, who already gets up first at night, who handles most of the daytime care. And I'm sorry, but I wish I had that problem because I don't want to have to work. Anyway, the diapers, the baths, the cooking, the house, the logistics, and who suggested pumping or formula only to be told no. So when she's shaken awake and told to feed the baby, she hits a cognitive wall where there literally is no move available to her in that moment. And frustration leaks out as that blunt, what do you want me to do? Okay. Which to her brain is a factual question about process. But the person whose body is the entire feeding system for that infant sounds like judgment, pressure, criticism, and any indictment of her choices, especially when you layer in postpartum hormones, right? Physical exhaustion, soreness, mental overload, and the reality that breastfeeding is not some serene bonding moment, Instagram fantasy, but an around the clock physical demand that it leaves people feeling touched out and depleted. And that's why the wife didn't come back to bed. And that's why she cooked breakfast while staying emotionally distant. Because that behavior doesn't come from a single sentence. It comes from something that's been simmering for a while. The sense that she's trapped in one role while her partner resents that role, even if she doesn't consciously intend to. And at the same time, the poster is sitting there thinking that she is already carrying everything she physically can, except the one thing biology assigned to the other person. And she's getting snapped at for waking her up when the baby is hungry, even though there is no other alternative feeding method on the table, which creates this awful feedback loop where one person feels accused and the other person feels trapped. And then the internet dogpiling her with just induced lactation. Okay, those comments only pour gasoline on the whole situation because she already knows that exists. Don't we all? She's already irritated, and strangers repeating it like she's ignorant just escalates her tone instead of helping the marriage. So when I weigh all of that together, my verdict isn't that she's an a-hole, okay, for being frustrated, because being frustrated in that position is human. And it's also not that the wife is wrong for being sensitive about feeding choices, because when your body is carrying the entire nutritional load for another human, you're already living inside vulnerability, and any hint that your choices are inconvenient is going to land hard. What makes this a what the fork situation instead of clean villain story is that they're both reacting to structural stress rather than cruelty. They never actually sat down in daylight, okay, and mapped out a nighttime plan where the non-feeding partner automatically handles the diaper, the burping, the rocking, the water bottle, the resettling, the shirt unclipping if allowed. I mean, come on. The post feed return to the crib, okay? Because right now they're improvising. They're improvising at 3 in the morning while cognitively impaired by exhaustion. Come on, mothers, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, White Chicken. Jesus loves you as well, my friend. Thank you for being here. So that is how resentment forms, even in healthy relationships. So if I'm talking to the poster directly, my answer would be that you're not wrong for pointing out that you cannot physically feed the baby, and you're not wrong for feeling boxed in by rigid feeding rules, okay? But the wording, your delivery method, and timing turned a logistical problem into an emotional wound. And if I'm talking to the wife, I say your feeding choices deserve respect and support, but asking someone to perform a task they literally cannot do without giving them a defined alternative, well, that sets both of you up to fight. You're setting the other one up. I'm sorry. And the fix here is not who technically won the argument, but whether they can reset the system by saying in daylight calmly that there is no shame in breastfeeding. Okay. There is no resentment about the choice, but there does need to be a clear nighttime division of labor so neither person feels trapped or blamed when the baby cries. Okay. Because this isn't a marriage imploding. This is two competent parents colliding at the intersection of biology and burnout. And in my book, that lands squarely in not the a-hole territory. For the question asked, but also in urgent communication. Hi, Des. Required territory for the relationship, because if they don't replace assumptions with agreements, this exact same fight is going to replay every night until the baby sleeps longer and somebody eventually explodes over something much smaller than feeding. How are you today, Des? Back there listening again. I appreciate you, my friend. I very much appreciate you. You know that. I love you. All righty. So we do have more different stories. Okay. Let's just get into the second story here. Let's see. I think we're here. Nope, here. Okay. Pardon me. Oh, allergies. It's our second spring in Texas, you guys. It's supposed to rain. It's like 55 degrees out there again. Stupid stuff like that. Anyway. Okay. Second story. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom what the fork is wrong with her husband yesterday? Probably not, but let's go. Over the last year, I, 32 female, have lost 2 planned pregnancies. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful. Thank you, Des. You're the bestest. Okay. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's been an emotional roller coaster. Absolutely. Yesterday, I had a medical procedure to scope the inside of my uterus and, oh, pardon me. Yeah, scope the inside of my uterus and confirm whether or not I had any fibroids or polyps that needed to be removed and could be contributing to my recurrent miscarriages. My husband and I have been open about our fertility struggles with our families and close friends, their support, and a little help from Zoloft for me. Okay, nothing wrong with that. And good for taking care of yourself. Proud of you for that one already. Especially after losing a pregnancy on February 28th, then beginning quarantine 2 weeks later. Uh-oh, this one's a quarantine. This can't be good. Having said that, over the course of this summer, my relationship with my mom has been strained. All right. We are working at communicating, healing from previous trauma. And while we work through this, I am trying to set up clear boundaries. I think there is a light at the end of the tunnel if we both put in the work. Amen. Okay. Stage has been set. Now, scene. I woke up yesterday, the morning of my late afternoon surgery, to an email from my stepfather. The subject line was forward: use of marijuana during pregnancy increases baby's risk of autism spectrum disorder. Study attached. And the body read, FYI, the message was sent to me, my sister, my early 20s stepsister and stepbrother, and my mom. Out of this group, 2 people can't carry children, mom and stepbrother. Okay. But stepbrother could have wife. Okay. And 2 people are not trying to conceive, my sisters. I am the only one trying to get pregnant. Okay, that's a little bit reach. You're reaching. Okay. Let's finish this before I start judging, because that feels like this person is reaching already for a reason to not like the husband. I live in a legal state and enjoy smoking weed, but have given it up during each pregnancy. Okay, as long as you're giving it up, there's nothing wrong with that. It's legal. I mean, you can walk out your door and go get it without getting in trouble. So what? I responded to my stepdad's email with a paragraph about my experience, then these questions. So my question is, you rarely send emails to this group. Why are you sharing this article with us? Are you concerned about someone's prenatal care? Is someone besides me? I guess I have been missing something here. Oh, sorry. That's terrible. Okay. One more. Now, do you think if I were to become pregnant a third time, I would start smoking weed during that pregnancy? Is this just a poorly timed, completely obtuse FYI? Now, I don't think that was an inappropriate response. Maybe, maybe not. But I did side text my mom, what the fork is wrong with your husband? She was shocked and hurt by this text. Doesn't see her role in this and feels like she's being blamed. Well, we see where you get it from. Part of me sees her point and thinks I'm a huge forking a-hole, but the other, I hope I didn't miss that one. Darn it. Even at 32 years old, my mom should be protecting me. Part of the trauma we're working through is that she did not consistently do this after she and my dad split up in my teens. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for texting my mom, what the fork is wrong with your husband? I didn't miss that one. Yay. All right. There's another one here. Stepdad sent me an email about prenatal marijuana use and autism rates this morning. What, really? That makes no sense. I went in for a procedure to diagnose a possible fertility issue after losing 2 pregnancies this year. Sent my mom a message, what the fork is wrong with your husband? Okay. I guess that's just to summarize. Anyway, answer here. All right, here's my take on this one, because when you stretch it out and really sit inside the emotional timeline, instead of isolating one spicy text message, this wasn't about marijuana. It wasn't. And it wasn't even really about the article. This was about timing, history, vulnerability, and a woman walking into a medical procedure after losing 2 wanted pregnancies, while already strained in her relationship with her mother and actively trying to rebuild trust through boundaries and communication. Nothing wrong with any of that, okay? I'm not judging that at all. No, I get it. With more context, it's much better, right? Okay, so waking up to an email blast from her stepfather, right? Oh, gosh, this just gets me. Someone who apparently does not regularly email the family group, forwarding a study about marijuana use during pregnancy and autism with nothing but FYI in the body. Really? Sent to a mixed group where she is the only person actively trying to conceive, the only one undergoing fertility testing that very day, and the only one for whom that topic would possibly feel pointed. And that context matters enormously, because even if he told himself he was just sharing a study or being informational or doing some vague public health service announcement, the emotional reality is that it landed on the exact person who had just endured repeated loss. She may have been reaching some, but not so much, I don't think. And she was walking into another invasive procedure in the middle of all this and had already sacrificed habits like smoking during pregnancy in the past. So, from her vantage point, the message reads less like neutral information and more like a poorly disguised commentary on her body, her grief, and her choices, whether that was his conscious intention or not. And that's why her reply to the group asking why the article was being shared, who is supposedly for, whether he thought she would smoke during another pregnancy, and whether the timing was obtuse, actually reads to me a restrained and pointed rather than explosive reaction, because she didn't curse in the group thread. She didn't accuse him directly of malice. She asked questions that highlighted how bizarre the targeting felt. And the private text to her mother is where the real rawness comes out, because when you are already carrying unresolved trauma about, I don't know, a parent not protecting you in the past, and you are in one of those most physically and emotionally exposed moments of your adult life, the instinct is not to craft a perfectly diplomatic note. It is to go to the person who is supposed to be your emotional shield and say in plain language, why did your husband do this to me? And yes, the wording, what the fork is wrong with your husband? I mean, come on. It's too sharp and confrontational, and understandably landed as blaming to the mother. Sort of. But when they are actively trying to repair the relationship, that doesn't make the underlying impulse illegitimate, because what she was really saying underneath the profanity was, I feel targeted. I feel unsafe. I feel judged. And I don't understand why nobody stepped in for me when this email went out. And the mother's response, focusing on being shocked, hurt, and blamed, and claiming she doesn't see her role. That's a little narcissistic to me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hi, Sage. How are you? Good to see you, hon. Yeah, it so also makes emotional sense from her side, I guess, because parents often hear that kind of statement as an indictment of their partner and themselves. That's in a step parent situation, it just gets compounded too, I think. So, uh, I don't think it's like a cry for protection, but that is exactly where their long running fracture line is sitting. One person asking for advocacy and reassurance, the other hearing accusation and retreating. And that's why I can't land on a clean villain here either, because the stepfather may be genuinely having thought he was circulating general information. Probably not, but maybe. Let's try and give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Without connecting the dots to the calendar and the recipient list. I mean, how does he really know that she's going in for a procedure like that? Sure, maybe he heard them talking about it, but if they have a communication problem already, maybe they weren't. And maybe not in front of him, just over the phone. Maybe the mom said something about it. You don't know these situations. The context is so important here. I wish these posters, when they would be detailed, they would be a little more detailed. A lot more detailed. I like details. I like tedious. I like the little things. And the little things are missing in this one. So the mother may have genuinely felt blindsided by being dragged into conflict. But after all, it is her husband, right? Right? So the poster was absolutely acting out of pain rather than spite, but intent does not erase impact. And the impact of that email on that morning was predictably devastating. So if I'm answering the specific question, was she an a-hole for texting her mom that line? I'd say this falls into a soft NTA, not the a-hole, or justified but poorly executed category here, because the emotion was valid. The sense of being singled out, was responsible. And the expectation that a parent should notice and protect you in moments like that is not childish, even at 32. But the profanity loaded framing guaranteed that the conversation would immediately become about tone instead of about why the email was sent and how hurtful it was. And if she actually wants progress with her mother instead of another rupture, the next step it's not doubling down on the wording, but circling back and saying something like, I was terrified and raw yesterday, and the email felt targeted, and I needed you to have my back. That's what I was trying to say, because that reframes the issue from attacking the husband to naming the wound. And at the same time, I don't want the mother and stepfather to hear, or I'd want the mother and stepfather to hear very clearly that blasting fertility related articles to a group that includes one actively undergoing testing after miscarriages is not neutral. It is invasive and careless, even if wrapped in FYI. Okay. It requires an apology and better judgment going forward, I would think, because this isn't about winning a Reddit verdict. Okay. This is about a family learning how to stop poking open wounds while claiming they didn't mean to. And in my book, the poster's reaction came from a place of grief and self-protection, not cruelty. But if she wants the relationship with her mother to actually heal, she's going to have to translate that rage into a calmer boundary, setting conversation once the adrenaline fades, of course, but because otherwise everyone will say, they'll stay stuck fighting, okay, about language instead of addressing the real issue, which is that someone walking into fertility surgery or after repeated loss should not have to field implied commentary about her reproductive choices from a mass email that never needed to be sent in the first place, right? Right. At least that's how I feel. That's how I'm going to keep it, because That seems fair to me. It's the delivery method, sweetheart. You really need to check yourself on that one. I'm just going to say it that way. Check yourself on that one, please, because it's a bit much. Okay? All right. Before we jump into the next case, you know how I do. I got to play my song and I got to take a little break. We're going to just take it right here. I've got a song for you. You know how I love it. And then, of course, my fast promo, but still a promo for Iron Sharpening Iron Universe. You guys don't forget, we got Ladies Diary tonight. Okay? So turn the volume up all the way up on loud, or put your earbud in, because you know you want to listen to this. Don't do it while you go to the bathroom, but do it while you're stretching your legs. Okay? I love y'all. Be right back.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson, every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss B. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built a whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let further spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss Beat doesn't measure wins by echoes of the past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame, got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free, it's a love note to the world sign. Boss B. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss B rising, BBTV shining, her story's rewriting, a legacy in real time. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. BBTV, where the stories breathe. BBTV, where the dreamers believe. Boss B rising, watch her take her place. This is BBTV, this is her grace.
Join Boss B for Ask a Bee Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Standard Time and Jukebox Journey every Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Look at you down there dancing in my chat room. You go, man. That's awesome. All right. Let's get into this third story. I love you, Sage. I'm so glad you're here. You're just the bestest Sage pup ever. All right. Up with our third and final story for today. This is a short one, but I got a lot to say. So, you know me. Always got a lot to say. That's what I do. That's how I roll. All right, third story. Am I the a-hole for turning down a free car? Absolutely, because you know what? I haven't had a car in a year, and I really need one. So you could give it to me. Yeah, I'll just put that out there. I got to pay my taxes before I get my car. I'm never going to get a car. All right, here we go. My parents are millionaires. Well, kiss my ass, buddy. Yeah, I said it, but I don't care, because if I had that problem, I wouldn't be talking right here. I need a job. I need a car to get to a job. My parents are millionaires. I know I'm spoiled. Well, I'm glad you know that. I'll be the first person to say that. Okay, I'm the second. My upbringing was unique. Own personal drivers, maids, etc. I'd like to think that I've broken away from being rich and snobby like the rest of my family. Gosh, I hope that's where you're going with this. I'm privileged and I know it. But I don't rub it in anyone's face except for you just did that I know of. Yeah, only about 1 million people now. My parents have gotten me a new car. They have gifted it to me. Okay, so at first I was shocked, thankful, and excited. I have a 2-month-old. Anyone with a newborn knows how much crap you have to pack. Honestly, the days when I just left the house with just my phone are history. That's for sure. It's a full-on big bag, extra clothes for him and toys, etc. We don't travel that far. Okay, you know what? I even brought extra clothes for me. Okay. My parents gave me this car and said it comes with rules. Wait. The car comes with rules. A gift comes with rules. Okay, what the fork? The first rule was to keep it clean. With a child, that's going to be real easy. Not have so much baby stuff in it. Are you kidding me? Their own words. My mom wanted a daily photo of the inside of the car to show I'm keeping it clean. What? Sorry, but no. And sorry, but not sorry. You should be saying. I said I'm in my 30s. I don't take their rules anymore, let alone let them being ridiculous. They are. I said they can shove their car, and now I'm getting hate for it. Well, okay. I mean, if you told them they could shove it, I would probably hate on you a little bit too. Wow. Okay, there's no updates or anything to this one, so let's just get back into this. Okay, I'm going to see this is every time I read this, and I swear I've read this a couple of times, I'm like, no, I should be saying that. Because this one's just messed up. First off, I'm going to really stretch this one out because there is a lot of hiding under what sounds on the surface like a simple rich family problem. And when you slow it down, what you actually hear is a grown adult trying to renegotiate autonomy after a lifetime of being managed, monitored, and financially cushioned in ways that quietly came with strings attached. Because yes, this person starts by acknowledging their privilege, okay? Acknowledging that their parents are millionaires, acknowledging the drivers and maids and the insulated childhood, and even naming that they've worked to step away from the rich and snobby culture that they grew up in, right? Which already tells me they are highly aware of how this sounds and are trying to preempt the knee-jerk reaction of must be nice, right? Because that's what I said, isn't it? So then you add the current life stage on top of that. Brand new parent, 2-month-old baby, sleep deprivation, diaper bags, backup clothes, toys, bottles, appointments, groceries, um, the whole logistical circus that comes with leaving the house with an infant. And suddenly that car is not a luxury object anymore. It's a functional tool and a survival routine. It's a rolling nursery. It's a place where crumbs happen, okay? And wipes live. And extra outfits sit in the trunk just in case for days, weeks, months, for a year, because they're outgrowing every one of theirs. And that's why the gift initially lands as exciting and generous, because in that moment she's thinking about cargo space and convenience and safety and reliability, not status. But the second that her parents attach rules to the car: keep it pristine, don't have baby clutter, send daily photos of the interior, that gift instantly stops being a gift and becomes a surveillance device. It is. It is. A leash disguised as generosity, a way of reasserting control over an adult child who is in her 30s with her own baby in her own household. And that's the part people get hung up on when they say she overreacted, because they zoom in on the phrase free car and forget that nothing is free if you're expected to document compliance every single day, like a teenager borrowing the family sedan. Because daily photo check-ins are not about cleanliness. They're about authority. They're about oversight and saying, we still get to manage how you live. And that hits differently for someone who explicitly says she spent her adult life trying to break away from that environment, trying to define herself outside of wealth, outside of being micromanaged. I mean, see, money does not make you happy all the time. Can I get out from under your feet? Well, I certainly hope you would. I got some big feet. Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to show y'all this one because I'm not crazy. This is the question I got. Outside of parental dominance and, okay, the then layer in the emotional vulnerability of early parenthood, when identity shifts, boundaries harden, and people suddenly get extremely sensitive to being undermined in their own household. And it makes total sense that this was the hill her nervous system chose to die on, okay? Because what she's actually rejecting isn't the vehicle, it's the implication that she is still a child whose personal space and daily habits are subject to parental inspection. And yes, telling them to shove the car is blunt and emotionally loaded and not exactly a Hallmark card way of asserting boundaries. But bluntness often shows up when someone finally decides they're done negotiating the same dynamic for the 15th time. And I think that's what's going on here. So I apologize for my original sneak judgment on that. Maybe you said it just fine. I think you said it just fine. I really think that's what's going on here, because people who have always had healthy handoff parents don't immediately go nuclear over a single request. They push back calmly and compromise. Whereas people who have spent decades with strings attached to generosity recognize the pattern instantly and react to the pattern, not the isolated incident. Okay. And the parent side is worth examining too, because it is possible they genuinely think they are helping. Probably not. But genuinely, they think they are setting reasonable conditions to preserve an expensive item. Genuinely believe that sending a photo a day is harmless accountability, especially if they come from a culture where wealth is tied to appearances and pristine things are moralized as discipline and responsibility. But intention does not cancel impact, right? And the impact here is it's childish, okay? Especially when the rule explicitly conflicts with the reality of having a newborn, because saying don't keep baby stuff in the car to a parent of a 2-month-old is basically saying, don't live your actual life inside this object we gave you, which makes the gift incompatible with the recipient's needs. And that's where the ethical core of questions sit for me, because gifts that come with conditions about how you must live, parent, or perform obedience are not neutral acts of generosity. They are attempts, and adults are allowed, no matter how privileged their background, the decline to decline gifts that compromise their autonomy, and very expensive ones too. That's the part people struggle with, because money warps moral judgment, okay? Where suddenly someone is expected to tolerate disrespect, intrusion, or control because the dollar amount is high enough. And I don't buy that logic, because dignity doesn't scale with price tags. And adulthood means you get to decide what kind of relationship you have with your parents, even if you can afford to buy you 10 cars. So when she says she's getting hate for turning it down, I suspect a lot of that hate is coming from people projecting their own financial stress and thinking, I'd put up with anything for a free car. No, you wouldn't. That's why I haven't had one in over a year, because I won't. Which to me is understandable emotionally, but irrelevant ethically. Because the question isn't, would you accept the car? It is. Is she wrong for refusing conditions that make her feel controlled? To me, that lands firmly in not the a-hole territory, because she didn't ask for the car. She didn't demand it. She didn't manipulate them into offering it. She evaluated the terms and decided they were unacceptable for her life and her parenting reality. And adults are allowed to reject offers that don't work for them without being morally defective. I mean, consider what it takes to keep up a car and then add all these rules on top of it. That's too expensive for me. If I'm sorry, that's way too expensive for me. I can't afford that kind of a car, because I'm sure they'll want, the most expensive gas and all that stuff. And if you're not trying to live that life, you're buying mid-grade, right? The only thing that I think I would gently critique is the delivery rather than the boundary itself, because telling someone to shove something escalates the emotional temperature instantly and shifts the conversation from this doesn't work for me to now we're fighting about respect. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I probably still would have said shove it, but that's just me. And if her long-term goal is to maintain a relationship, okay, with her parents while redefining boundaries, I need some caramel. Okay, calmer reaction or calmer version of the same stance. I appreciate the offer, but I'm not willing to send daily photos or restrict how I use my own car. So if that's part of it, I can't accept. Reaction is everything. I say it daily. I said it to my kids. I say it to everybody. Reaction is everything. And when you tell somebody to just shove it, yeah, they're going to get defensive. So, I really think if you rephrased it, it would protect the same autonomy without lighting the fuse. But even with the blunt wording, I still don't think she's wrong for the decision itself, because declining a conditional gift is not ingratitude. It's governance, self-governance. And what this really sounds like is the first major boundary she's drawn since becoming a parent, where the stakes suddenly feel higher, because now it's not just about how she lives. It's about, what kind of environment she models for her child. And a lot of people get very clear very fast about control dynamics the second they imagine them being passed down another generation. What on earth? Oh, it's the fourth. Sirens are going off. I hate that. Okay, so my verdict on this one is solidly not the a-hole, for turning down the car. Okay. With the caveat that if she wants less chaos and fewer family blowups in the future, she might want to practice drawing those lines in sentences that sound less explosive when, even while, she's staying just as firm. Because the refusal is reasonable. The desire for independence is healthy. And the instinct to reject being monitored in your 30s, wow, especially as a parent, a new parent, is not spoiled. It's adult. And the real worthy part of this story is that, some families are so used to attaching strings to generosity that they're genuinely shocked when someone finally says, no thanks. I'd rather pay for my own freedom. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Seriously. I have to commend her. I mean, first off, let me say, I think what she really needed to do was think about that before she reacted. I mean, that's what I always say, right? About every situation, but that's my point. If you think about this before you react, you can stop the conflict. You can stop the confrontation, right? That's what we want to do anyway. Nobody wants to fight. Nobody wants to fight. But sometimes it happens. And, you got to be the better person. That's how I feel. You just need to be the better person. Don't shrink yourself being the better person, okay? That's not what it's about. Just be the better person. Find a better way, okay? All right, that is where we're going to land this plane for today. Yes, all aboard the B plane. Okay, that's What the Fork Wednesday for sure, huh? These stories, whether it's exhausted new parents, family boundaries, getting trampled, or whether parents attaching strings to generosity, always come back to the same core truth. Most people are not waking up trying to hurt the people they love, but stress, fear, grief, money control, and exhaustion have a way of dragging the worst worded version of our thoughts straight out of our mouths. Don't react. Sometimes the real work isn't deciding who technically won the argument. It's figuring out how people could stop replaying the same fight over and over again with slightly different costumes on. I want to hear from you in the comments, okay, after this. Make sure you hit the smash that like button for your girl, okay? Honey or stinger for each story. Which one hit close to home? Which one made you stop and stare at the screen for a second? Which one made you not react? And which one you think could actually be fixed with one calm daylight conversation instead of another midnight blow up? Because some of the best takes always come from you, not me. And I love seeing how thoughtful and honest this community gets when we slow things down. These situations are crazy, but instead of turning them into drive-by verdicts, if you're watching live, thank you for hanging out with me today. Sage, I love you, my friend. Liked. Thank you, Des. Love you too. All right. So if you caught this, if you're catching this for the replay, do me a favor and drop a comment anyway, because I read them all and they absolutely shape what we bring to the table the next day. And if you're new here and this was your first Ask a Bee, welcome. You officially wandered into the middle of the messiest corner of the internet in the best possible way. So hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. Hey, even consider being a member because, yeah, I'm good. And come sit with us again tomorrow, okay? It will be Thankful Thursday, and I've already got some stories in mind. We do this every day at noon, and I am trying to get back at my noon. And the stories are never short on chaos. And don't forget, Ladies' Diaries coming up this evening. It's Speak Charlene, 6 Central. That's the one. Yes, my name is Charlene, but I am Boss B here. It doesn't matter. If you don't know me, you don't know me. If you do, you do. So if today's case has got you thinking, that conversation is going to go even deeper. Okay. And I want you there for that too. All right, y'all. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to your people. Drink some water. Hydrate. Mama Lion says hydrate. Don't forget. Unclench your jaw, please. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, buzz you later. Oh, hey, yeah. Don't worry. I got Tuber Chat going. Love y'all.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why.
If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live weekdays at 12 p.m. Central, and each day has its own focus. Same honesty, same voice, just different conversations depending on the day. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine.